And our guests, their name, Mike and Maria Keiser. And listen, they don't know this, but I dubbed them M&M Keiser because it's catchy, and I think you'll remember it. You'll think of M&Ms. Anyway, they are founders of the E-Circle, which is short for the Entrepreneur Circle in Manchester, Connecticut. They are highly motivated. You can see them on YouTube. They have a lot of information to share, especially for the entrepreneur, and everyone knows how much everyday people here, we love the entrepreneurial spirit. So right now, I'd like to welcome both Mike and Maria Keiser to our program. Good morning, Maria.
Good morning, Ann. Thanks for having us on the show. And I'd like to comment on your M&M. People used to call us M squared.
Well, that's cute, too. And so good morning to Mike also. Good morning, Mike.
Hi, Ann. How are you today? Thanks for having us.
Oh, gosh, I'm so happy to have you here. And many thanks to our mutual friend, Sheldon Busto, for the introduction. It's just great to have referrals like that for fascinating guests like the both of you. So here's what came to me. At the moment, I know more about what you currently do career-wise than I do know about you as people. So I'm going to assume that you're a couple because you both have the same last name.
You assumed correctly.
We've been a couple for a long time.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about Maria and Mike. They met, they're local, they met locally. Tell me the story.
Well, Maria is from the Worcester area, and I was in the Army stationed at Fort Devens, Massachusetts. I was from the Pittsburgh area, and my roommate was dating her roommate at college, and they fixed us up on a blind date, and the rest is history.
And that was just like last year, right?
Yeah, or 25 years ago.
So that's wonderful. You are a real team, and I'm happy to hear that. Now, did you both work or have a love affair with the same field, too? The idea of entrepreneurs, and or were you in different directions career-wise when you met years ago?
I would say we were in completely different directions career-wise. Michael was really geared more towards the medical field, and I was going to school to become a teacher.
Mm-hmm. And so...
Yeah. It was. We were in very different directions, and then Maria was a stay-at-home mom until the kids were school age, and that's when we really started our venture in business together.
Now, do you find it's easier or more difficult to work together and have life together?
Both.
Uh-huh.
It's easy because you know that the person that's your partner is your partner and you trust them. And it can be difficult because, you are a couple, you share everything together. So, if you don't create your boundaries, everything can leak into one another, and that's not so good.
Right. Now, how many children did we raise?
We raised 2.
And are they entrepreneurs?
One of them has the entrepreneur bug. He's looking to open up a food truck, and actually he's in process of squirreling away his money and creating his plan and identifying the things he needs to do to get this done.
That's wonderful. So, Mike and Maria Keiser, you are founders of the Entrepreneur Circle, or E-Circle for short, and I understand it provides support, coaching, and peer counseling for small business owners to enhance their management and leadership skills. So, most people will hear that and they'll say, well, give us your background. Like, why should we listen to your thoughts on how we should do this?
Oh, well, my tongue-in-cheek, but not so tongue-in-cheek answer is we've figured out how to screw everything up. Like we've lived through some very interesting business challenges and have lived to tell the story. And then at the same time, we don't really act as anybody's consultant or guru. It's more of a coaching and peer, and like you said, peer advisory. So we really facilitate and coach more than teach. Would you say so, Maria?
I would definitely say so, because everybody is so very different. So Ann, your superpower would be very different than my superpower. And through the coaching and working together, we help you, identify what that is and then help you exploit that.
Mm-hmm. So your website, mentalcompass.com, what does mental compass mean?
Well, we've found that although businesses face a number of outside challenges. Most of the time, a business's challenges are between the owner's ears.
Mm-hmm.
So we do spend a lot of time focused on helping people, how would I say, keep their mind right, work on head trash and stay focused and stay calm and be able to handle adversity and sort of. So it was Maria, actually, that just one day the phrase mental compass popped into her head.
I like it. Now, you have available on Amazon your Practice by Design, a step-by-step guide to being a high-performance insurance broker. You work with all sorts of business, but I understand your specialty has sort of become the insurance business. Is that correct?
That is correct. We've for over 13 years now, we have offered our services to all different types of businesses, and many have been successful going through our program. But we found that owners of insurance agencies really click to our program, and the results that they were able to achieve as a result of our work has been astronomical. And so we decided, well, let's really focus on that industry, because that's the group of folks that really respond to what we do.
Now, did either of you come from any insurance background or no?
No.
No, I came from medical, as Maria said, and Maria was in teaching, and we were working, when we started 12 and a half years ago, we were working with all sorts of business owners. So we still have a number of people that aren't at all related to financial services. We just gravitated toward that about 6 years ago.
Now,
it worked out really well.
I saw some statistics that were amazing. I think it was for the insurance businesses that you've worked with, like an increase of revenue by 350%.
Yeah, I mean, it's so substantial, and it's amazing once they kind of grab on to, oh, this is what I do really well. Well, I can do that over and over and over again, and just by doing these very simple things that aren't very costly or extremely time-consuming, they can see that kind of increase.
That's incredible.
It's so big that it's almost unbelievable.
Well, that's what I mean. That's a huge number, 350%. Yeah. Now, Mike and Maria, what business have you worked with that you would say has been your most challenging for whatever reason?
Let's see. Wow, that's a good question. I don't know if I have a specific business in mind. I have a few specific people, and I guess the biggest challenge becomes when you kind of want it more than they do. So when somebody's really not willing to put in the effort and the focused attention and all of that, that can be really mentally taxing.
And I will also say the business owner that looks at selling as a four-letter word, if they are refusing to sell anything, market anything, and hear anything about it, that's a tough person to work with. Mm-hmm. They're most likely not going to be successful.
Now, how is it that people, or you assist people to key in on their strengths? Mm-hmm. How is that? How do you find like that, the answer to that? Like, what is a person's strength?
We actually use an assessment, but it's not one that we created. This psychiatrist at the University of Pennsylvania, Martin Seligman, he is the founder of the field of positive psychology, and he developed this, they call it the signature strengths assessment. So it's a whole 120-something questions. And it really is, it's so accurate. So there was something there was a tool that existed that we didn't have to create.
I almost like that better than having my fortune told.
Yeah.
Right?
No kidding.
What else is nice about this assessment is, one, it's not one that people know how to take, so they will answer it much more genuinely, so our results are a lot more accurate. They're not trying to beat the system. And then, what they understand ahead of time is there's no right answer. We just want to identify where you're the strongest so we can just help you do more of that.
Now, how did the concept of this business come about between the two of you?
Really casually. When we owned our first business, our medical imaging company, I used to meet just on a very casual basis with 4 other business owners, and then sort of simultaneously, we took over a business networking group. So we ended up taking the concept of these business owners getting together and acting as each other's counsel, their peer counsel, and we took the networking group and we thought we invented this concept of peer advisory boards. So we really formalized that peer counsel process, and then we discovered we didn't invent it. You know, we have there's plenty of competition in our field, but that's okay. But it just came out of something really casual.
No,
You know, our clients, the biggest thing they said, we asked them the question, what would you like us to offer that you're just not getting anywhere else? And I think this is why Michael thought we invented it. And they kept saying over and over again, you go to a networking event and you have to put on your happy face. And I need a place where I could say, here, this is what's really going on. Somebody help me. And that's how they got started.
It's really amazing. You must hear so many amazing stories. And when you find that your clients have success, that's got to be thrilling.
It really is thrilling. You know, when they figure something out. For example, this morning I was meeting with a client, and we were talking through his marketing, his marketing and sales approach, and he's telling me all the things that he's not willing to do and the things he doesn't like to do. And I said, but you like to do this, right? And he said, yes. And so we just talked a little more about it. And just by that little conversation, we created a whole strategy that actually he wanted to leave the session early so he could go start it.
Oh, that's really exciting. Now, Maria, what did you teach when you were in the teaching profession, or what grade?
I taught pre-K. My education was pre-K to grade 3. I never quite made it to getting a job teaching because we got married and we started having children.
Well, it's interesting because now you work with big kids instead of little kids, right?
Well, you know, the training was so appropriate for what we do, and quite frankly, Anne, I've always, whenever I saw myself as an adult, as a child, I always saw myself in front of the classroom, and it didn't matter what size they were. I just knew that I wanted to show people stuff, and so I was educated in it. The principles are pretty much the same, whether you're 3 or you're 50, and it's a lot of fun.
And business owners can be just as unruly as third graders, too.
You have to have a little renegade in them. I agree, a little trailblazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. So can everyday people find success? Can it be a small business? Can they call you, and will they, if they're willing to work at it, can they find success with your program?
Absolutely, and that you said a mouthful, Anne. If they're willing to work at it and they're willing to engage in the activities, they will absolutely find success.
You know, and even if they don't work with us, I would like to leave people with the message. And I had lunch with somebody yesterday that finally made a big leap a year ago, started his own business, and he had a good job. And he said he talks to so many of his friends that said, oh, man, I wish I had the courage to do that. So I would say to people, have the courage. Go do it. Just work your butt off. And yes, you can take a small, simple business idea and be very successful with it, sure.
The true secret of success is persistence and execution. If you're not executing, then the success will not be there.
Well, I think I'm going to heed the words, and I think that all of our listeners, you've probably piqued their interest. So I'd like to thank Maria and Mike Keiser, the founders of the Entrepreneur Circle, so much for joining us. Your Practice by Design, a step-by-step guide to being a high-performance insurance broker. Thank you so much for being here on Everyday People and sharing your enthusiasm towards the entrepreneurial spirit with us.
Well, this was a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Ann, thanks. This was a real blast. I hope you have a great day.
Okay, we'll send our listeners to www.mentalcompass.com and make sure that they say they heard you on Everyday People. How's that?
It's great, and there's lots of free stuff that they can go and poke around. They can listen to our podcast. They can download a free chapter of our book. There's just lots of ways they can experience us right off the bat.
Beautiful. So thanks, and have great everydays. Carry on.
right. Thanks,
you
Ann.
too.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Your resource for living every day in a superstar way. And they have a quote. It says, life may not be the party we hope for, but while we are here, we might as well dance. And you got to love them for that. So make sure you check them both out. Maria and Mike Keiser, mentalcompass.com.